Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
Good evening. Thanks for choosing Big Fox News. I'm Nick Smith. We begin tonight with a police investigation launched after a skimming device was found at a gas station in Horseheads. In tonight's top story, Matt Kleindist joins us from Corning with the latest on that investigation and steps you can take to protect your information.
Good evening, Nick. Residents who pumped gas at the burned dairy in Horseheads are being asked to check their accounts for potential fraudulent activity. In a press release, the New York State Police announced that a credit card skimmer was found at the burned dairy along Grand Central Avenue in Horseheads. A card skimmer is used to gain access to a person's credit card information and forwards it to the perpetrator, allowing them to make purchases. According to the press release, once a skimmer device is found, there are typically more in the surrounding area. Anyone who has pumped gas at the burned dairy is asked to check their credit or debit accounts for any fraud. To protect yourself from skimming devices, the Federal Trade Commission suggests saving receipts for every purchase to compare with your account and to report questionable charges to your card provider. Additionally, state troopers say residents getting gas should check to see if the pump's integrity tape is still intact. Anyone who finds a card skimming device is asked to call New York State Police in Horseheads. Matt Kleindist, Big Fox, WYDC in Corning.
By May 1st, all 50 states will have expanded COVID-19 vaccine eligibility to everyone 16 years and older. And this is happening as COVID-19 variants continue to pop up. Britt Conway has the latest on the race between vaccinations and variants.
From production to packaging to planes to the pavement and to the people.
Okay, here we go.
The COVID-19 vaccine rollout is going strong, with every state announcing plans to expand vaccine eligibility to people 16 years and older, if they haven't already. But Dr. Ashish Jha, epidemiologist Michael Osterholm, and Dr. Paul Offit worry it's creating false hope. Average new case counts are up more than 16% these past 2 weeks. And the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says part of the reason for the rise is because of variants like the one first spotted in the UK.
It's not long before it's going to sweep across the country.
And the variants make it particularly concerning.
That's because there are still so many questions about the variants.
To date, we don't know that these variants have completely escaped immunity, where, for example, if you've been naturally infected or immunized, you still may be hospitalized or be in an ICU or die.
And there are other variants popping up, like the one first identified in India that's also been reported in California, not to mention the variants still to come as viruses mutate over time.
Where will these new variants come from that we couldn't even imagine today?
Still, they all agree vaccinations are our best bet.
Either get vaccinated, or if we haven't had a chance to get a vaccine yet, at least wear a mask and social distance.
So we really do have to hunker down for a few more weeks.
I'm Britt Conway reporting.
Witness testimony continuing for the 7th day in the Derek Chauvin murder trial. The prosecution now focusing in on the Minneapolis Police Department's use of force policies as they seek to convict the former officer for the killing of George Floyd. Daryl Forges is in Minneapolis with the latest.
In the murder trial of Derek Chauvin,
the court will make a determination, and then counsel can follow up with Mr. Hall.
Judge Peter Cahill delaying testimony from Maurice Hall, George Floyd's friend, who was with him during the encounter with Chauvin, as Hall invokes the Fifth Amendment.
Mr. Hall is invoking his Fifth Amendment privilege against self-incrimination in several key areas of questioning that we believe he would face were he to be called to testify.
The prosecution now continuing to question members of law enforcement as they concentrate their arguments on Chauvin's use of force.
I am the Crisis Intervention Training Coordinator for the department.
In key testimony Monday, Minneapolis Police Chief Madaria Arredondo said the former officer violated department policy when he knelt on Floyd's neck for more than 9 minutes.
It is not part of our training, and it is certainly not part of our ethics or our values.
During cross-examination, Chauvin's attorney, Eric Nelson, focusing on the exact placement of Chauvin's knee.
Would you agree that from the perspective of Officer King's body camera, it appears that Officer Chauvin's knee was more on Mr. Floyd's shoulder blade?
Yes.
And arguing Floyd's drug use and pre-existing health conditions were the primary cause of death. In Minneapolis, I'm Daryl Forges.
The Capitol police officer killed in last week's attack will lie in honor in the Capitol's rotunda next week. Officer William Evans died Friday after a man rammed a vehicle into the barricade at the Capitol. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi ordered flags at the Capitol to be flown at half-staff in his honor the same day. She then issued a joint statement with Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer today, calling Evans a martyr for our democracy. Lying in honor at the Capitol is the civilian equivalent of lying in state, which is reserved only for government and military officials. It's a rare honor that was last given to Brian Sicknick, the Capitol police officer killed in January's riot. Major League Baseball's All-Star Game will reportedly be played in Denver after the league pulled out in Atlanta. Ray Bogan has the latest on the move and the political fallout.
Coors Field in Denver is expected to host this year's MLB All-Star Game. It comes after the league pulled out of Georgia in what MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred said was, quote, a way to demonstrate our values.
I think they're alienating their fans.
The controversy surrounds Georgia's recent voting law, which critics say makes it too difficult to vote and will disproportionately hurt people of color.
We should not be limiting anything when it comes to our voters and their rights. We should be helping them, doing more.
A long list of companies are speaking out against the law. It requires an ID to vote, reduces drop boxes, and changes how voters can request absentee ballots. But they're being accused of hypocrisy because states like New York and Colorado have similar laws. Florida Senator Marco Rubio wrote to Commissioner Manfred, quote, I am under no illusion that Major League Baseball will sacrifice business revenue on behalf of its alleged corporate values.
Are they going to now cut ties with the Chinese Communist Party? The answer to both is, of course, no.
Republicans are fighting back. Texas Governor Greg Abbott backed out of throwing the first pitch to open the season for the Texas Rangers.
They need to stay out of politics, especially when they have no clue what they're talking about.
All he's doing is trying to agitate as opposed to collaborate and to see how we can move forward, not as Republicans and Democrats, but as Americans.
Former President Trump is calling for a boycott of baseball, while former President Obama congratulated the MLB. In Washington, Ray Bogan, Fox News.
Should governments have the right to prevent transgender kids from transitioning? Well, that question is up for debate in many states. Jackie Banez has more.
Transgender healthcare is suddenly thrust into the spotlight, with several states looking at laws designed to limit medical treatment for transgender kids. A bill in Arkansas would have made it the first state to ban doctors from supplying transgender youth with the necessary procedures to transition, including hormone blockers and reassignment surgery. Arkansas Republican Governor Asa Hutchinson has vetoed the measure, citing government overreach.
If House Bill 1570 becomes law, then we are creating new standards of legislative interference with physicians and parents as they deal with some of the most complex and sensitive matters involving young people.
The bill's supporters say children are too vulnerable to make these decisions at a young age.
Let's take the emotion out and let's just protect kids.
But opponents of the restrictions believe the small population of transgender children in the U.S. should not be stripped of important resources during a critical time in their lives.
They deserve the guiding hand of their parents and of the healthcare professionals.
Similar legislation is being considered in nearby Alabama, where advocates say restricting health care can pose life-threatening consequences.
Suicide rates will increase if transgender youth are denied this important science and evidence-based medical care.
Arkansas's governor acknowledges the legislature could override his veto, but he's hoping his fellow Republicans will heed his warnings and work to protect the welfare of trans kids. Jackie Banez, Fox News.
The Watkins Glen Waterfront Festival has been canceled for the second year in a row. The festival is a village staple that brings thousands of people to Seneca Lake to enjoy music, food vendors, and the annual cardboard boat regatta. The circumstances surrounding the pandemic ultimately led to the Waterfront Festival Committee calling off the event.
It's really difficult for us to think about how we could monitor and maintain a socially distanced opportunity, and fun for all. It wasn't an easy one, but I think best for the community.
DiNardo says the committee is beginning to plan for the Waterfront Festival in 2022. Still ahead tonight, a live-streamed accident on TikTok becomes a life-saving moment spanning multiple states.
All of a sudden,
his phone goes kind of blank. Like you can see a little bit of light, but brown like leaves. And then you can just hear him like yelling.
How one team jumped into action to save someone more than 800 miles away.
Here's your local stock market update from Big Fox. Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
Your Big Fox forecast is brought to you by William Mattar. Good evening, everyone. I'm meteorologist Kim Walker with your weather update. A nice day today. We did see some sunshine as well. Temperatures were a little bit warmer this afternoon than they were yesterday, reporting about 3 degrees warmer in Elmira, about 5 in Watkins, Glen, and also in Bath, and about 4 degrees warmer in Corning. For tonight, those temperatures will be diving down. It's going to be a chilly start to our day tomorrow with readings around 38 degrees in the morning, but by 6 o'clock in the morning, it looks like we could already be around 40 degrees. So it's going to be another mild day tomorrow, but the high pressure system that's keeping us dry will continue to move away, allowing for a little disturbance that will come through. There could be a few showers as we head into the early morning hours, and then we do have another possibility of rain as we head toward the end of the week. But if you're doing any yard work or any spring cleaning, here's a look at your hourly forecasts. 42 degrees at 7 o'clock with partly sunny skies, cloudy conditions, 54 at around 10 o'clock. And then as we head into the afternoon hours, it's going to be pretty nice, close to around 70 degrees at 3 o'clock and dropping down only to around 65 at 6. So it's going to be a really nice day if you want to do anything outside. And you may want to do it by Wednesday and also on Thursday because our chances of rain will start to increase for the latter part of this week. So high pressure builds in again, leaving us with warm conditions, but then there will be showers and thunderstorms for Friday into your Saturday. And so the wet weather will be returning. Here's a look at your future radar for tonight. We are expecting a few isolated showers to move through, maybe even some moderate rain at around 3 o'clock in the morning. But this batch will be moving out at around 8 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday. And so it's going to be a little bit drier during the day, and we're going to enjoy just a nice warm up out ahead of our next system. Temperatures tonight quite chilly, 38 degrees in Elmira, 39 degrees in Corning with a few showers possible. As we head into tomorrow, temperatures around 70 degrees, the high in Elmira, Corning around 72, 66 in Perkinsville, still not bad. And we're going to continue that warming trend. In fact, on Thursday, it's going to be about more than 20 degrees above normal with a high in the mid-70s. As we head toward the end of the week, our chances of rain will start to increase. Highs on Friday, a little bit cooler, around 66 degrees, and then we warm up to around 72. We have another round coming our way by the end of the weekend, and this time around, it is going to usher in a little bit cooler air behind it. 64 degrees, the high on Monday, dropping down into the 50s by Tuesday with a mostly cloudy sky.
A small college in southwest Colorado is one of the first in the country to require students to get vaccinated. Fort Lewis College is offering exceptions for things like religious or medical concerns. Otherwise, students at the liberal arts school will have to get a COVID-19 vaccine before returning to campus in the fall. Marcus Salinger reports on why the school made that decision.
The pandemic has taken away a lot of the social parts of college. For much of the past year, schools all around the state have gone to virtual learning. Now vaccines offer a chance to get back to that ever-elusive normal we knew before the pandemic.
The big thing is, the more students we can have vaccinated, the better chance we have of having a normal semester.
More than 280,000 students go to college in Colorado. Each school makes their own rules when it comes to who has to get the vaccine. There's only one school in the state that's mandated that all students be vaccinated before returning to campus in the fall. They're also one of the first in the country to do that. That's Fort Lewis College in Durango. The president of the school says it's their best shot at keeping students in the classroom safely.
Students would submit proof of vaccine, the vaccine card, or some other kind of proof that they had been vaccinated to be eligible to be in classes.
President Tom Straticus says mandating the COVID vaccine isn't all that different from mandating other vaccines that students are already required to have. 70% of classes are already in person. Here at the University of Denver, school leaders are hoping that 90% of students, faculty, and staff will get vaccinated. That's the goal. They're not mandating that everyone get vaccinated, but they're hoping that on-campus vaccination clinics will help them get there.
So we are hoping to offer vaccination on campus for everyone before the term ends this year.
Sarah Watamura is the COVID coordinator at DU and a professor in the Department of Psychology. She believes enough students and faculty will want to get the vaccine that they won't need to mandate it.
You actually have a very good cooperation when people feel that they have choice and they have opportunity.
From football games to on-campus plays to in-person study groups, schools around the state see vaccines as a big step forward towards getting all of that back, one vaccine at a time.
A Louisiana man was not feeling the joy at the happiest place on earth when he visited Disney World. He had to be escorted off of the Florida resort after he refused to adhere to coronavirus safety measures. Mike DeForest has more.
So at this time, sir, you're being asked to leave the premises by Chris, who is a security manager at Disney Springs.
Kelly Sills refused to undergo a temperature screening at Disney Springs, according to deputies, which Disney requires as a COVID-19 precaution.
They're asking you to leave. We are going to escort you out now, sir. You are officially being trespassed.
The Louisiana man immediately let deputies know his family paid a lot of money for their vacation.
Sir, I spent $15,000. Come here. 2, start walking, sir.
You telling me I spent 15 grand?
Put your hand behind your back, sir. You refuse to leave after being told to do so. He's not listening. All you have to do is get temperature checked. That's it.
As deputies arrested Sills for trespassing, he continued to insist he had a right to be there.
So because it's private property, all right, they can ask you to leave.
They can't ask me when I paid $15,000. That's not a true statement, sir.
100% they can.
If you charge me, if I take $15,000 from you, I can't kick you out.
Mr. Sills.
As deputies escorted Sills out of Disney Springs,
you know how much stock I own in Disney?
Sills claimed to be a Disney shareholder, but then he suggested his arrest might actually be a good thing.
Believe me, it's saving me a lot of money if y'all kick me out.
It's unclear why Sills did not want to undergo a temperature screening at Disney Springs. In a statement, a Disney spokesperson says, "Guests have been overwhelmingly supportive of our protocols. Millions of guests visit our theme parks each year, and in rare instances where things of this nature occur, we hold them accountable."
The highly competitive smartphone market is losing a major player. LG is calling it quits on tech designs after more than 2 decades in the business. Mary Maloney has more on why the tech giant is now calling it quits.
LG is hanging up its smartphone business. The South Korean tech giant announcing its mobile phone division is expected to wind down by the end of July.
In US market, it's the 3rd largest vendor with almost 9% market share.
LG was once one of the top 3 global smartphone makers. Its displays and cameras were among the best on the market, but experts say in the end, it couldn't keep up. Squeezed at the top by high-end companies like Samsung and Apple, squeezed at the bottom by cheaper Chinese smartphone brands. The move comes after years of losses, dwindling popularity, and a shift in focus. The company says it will now focus on growth areas like electric vehicle components, smart homes, and artificial intelligence.
Still, people use LG TVs, LG washing machines, LG refrigerators, and I think they have an opportunity to enter into a lot of other consumer lifestyle devices.
LG became known for pushing the limits of design. In 2013, it came out with a curved smartphone screen. Last year, it unveiled a 5G-enabled smartphone that came with 2 screens, including one that could rotate up to 90 degrees. And just 3 months ago, the company was still turning heads. LG revealing a phone that could be rolled up to turn into a tablet. The decision to call it quits was met with an outpouring of nostalgia on social media, with people sharing photos of their first LG phones and praising the company's innovative spirit. For Consumer Watch, I'm Mary Maloney.
The National Labor Relations Board has found that Amazon illegally fired 2 employees last year. The employees, Emily Cunningham and Maureen Costa, were vocal critics of Amazon. They organized workers around climate action and warehouse conditions during the pandemic. Amazon says it fired Cunningham and Costa, both user experience designers, for violating internal policies. The company says it wasn't because they spoke out against working conditions. According to the New York Times, the Labor Board is planning to issue a complaint if the case is not settled. This is just the latest claim the federal agency is investigating regarding an Amazon worker. Yahoo Answers is shutting down May 4th. The question and answer platform launched more than 15 years ago. It became one of the largest troves of information and misinformation on the internet. Yahoo says the portal will go into read-only mode on April 20th. Users have until June 30th to download any content they want to keep. Yahoo says it's planning to shift its focus on other products that better serve its members. Verizon, which owns Yahoo, recently announced plans to create a new subscription-based service using the Yahoo name. A New Hampshire teen is credited with helping to save another boy's life after a call for help over a TikTok live stream more than 800 miles away in West Virginia. Charisse LeClaire reports the two met for the first time over Zoom yesterday.
She said, "Thank you so incredibly much. I can't express how thankful our family is for your quick thinking and ability to get help."
Caden Cotnoir reading a note from the mother of the boy he saved.
All of a sudden, like, his phone goes kind of blank. Like, you can see a little bit of light, but brown, like leaves. And then you can just hear him like yelling and kind of just yelling for help.
It happened during this live feed on TikTok showing 12-year-old Trent Jarrett in his home state of West Virginia. Caden follows him because of shared interests over hunting, fishing, and four-wheeling. Seconds into Trent's feed, something very clearly goes wrong.
It was pretty like sad to hear. Like, he's scared that he's not going to make it out.
In the confusion and chaos of the live stream, Caden could hear Trent calling out numbers.
I was yelling out my grandparents' house phone number.
The only number he could remember, and it was a lifesaver because Caden was listening.
At that point, I knew something was wrong, and I brought the phone to them.
Caden's stepdad, Matt Currier, chief of Gilmanton Police.
He did what he was supposed to do and got the right people, and it worked out. It was a Easter miracle.
Trent's parents managed to find their son and lift the ATV off of him. He had been trapped 15 to 20 minutes.
I couldn't hardly breathe.
He's cut and bruised, but today these two friends who have never met came face to face.
I'd just like to thank him for everything that he's done. My only reward is that he's fine.
Does this kind of strengthen your guys' friendship here a little bit?
I think so. Yeah. You know, if something happens, I'm always there, like, in his thing, so if something ever goes wrong, I'll most likely be there, like, to help and stuff, and hopefully we get to meet one day.
We want to leave you with a smile tonight. It was an unusual rescue for a Colorado fire station last week. Firefighters were called to Colorado Springs State Park to help a pair of great horned owlets get back into a tree. And guess what? The task isn't as simple as you might think. Since the owlets can't fly, firefighters use their fire truck's ladder to lift themselves up to put the little ones back into their nest. And as you can see, the mother owl flew away from the nest when humans arrived, but she was close by, keeping an eye on the rescue. The owlets are 2 weeks old, and wildlife officials say they need another 30 days until they're able to fly and officially leave the nest. For now, they are safe and sound, all thanks to some helpful firefighters. Thanks so much for joining us. We hope to see you back here tomorrow night.